On a chilly fall morning, I was at a football game with my dad, my brother, and his friend. All of a sudden, I woke up from my nap in a chair and I could not find my dad, my brother, or his friend.
And the chair was right behind me. Once the football game was over, fans had walked in between myself and my daughter where she was sitting. And I believe my daughter woke up and being disoriented from her nap, thought I had left and went to the car. So when I looked for my daughter, actually getting ready to go, I noticed that she was not in the chair. When I looked around in the immediate proximity to where we were standing and did not see her, my panic was probably more than what words can describe. My heart stopped, my heart sunk, and I was in a sheer panic mode. And as any parent would be that seems to have lost their child,
I did not know what to do, so I started searching and asking people all over if they had saw my dad. The entire city knew who my dad was, so I was just asking them if they saw him. Everyone constantly told me no, they hadn't saw him, so I went searching out for him and somehow ended up in someone's car. Being that I was only 5 or 6 at the time, I didn't know too much, so the driver was asking me where I lived, and I didn't know too much about my house address, so I couldn't tell them where I lived. And in the car, it was like a van. It was kids in there, and it was some adults in there as well. They did try to offer me candy, and I said no.
all I could do is jump into some type of action to try to find her amongst all the pain, panic, and fear that I felt, thinking that she had maybe got lost. I feared for her running out in the street. She was a very small child, and there was a lot of traffic in the area. So during my search and my panic, the first thing that came to mind, actually, I was standing next to, was a policeman friend of mine. Yelled at him to get all patrol on alert and block off every street. Told him to describe the little girl that we were looking for and make sure that every police officer in the area was locking down that whole area. My biggest fears was that she would run out in between cars into traffic and get hit by a car or something. My immediate thought was to go and stop traffic. I ran as fast as I could to the front of the traffic. I was checking every single car that tried to drive down the street. I stood in the middle of the street, stopping every car, looking in every car, set up my own personal stop. Actually, probably several cars down, there was a car that drove up, and there's my daughter sitting in the car. Family who said they were looking for me because they found a little girl wandering and said she was looking for her dad.
As soon as I saw my dad in the street, I immediately recognized him and told him, "Stop, that's my dad." And they pulled over and let me out, and I was reunited with my dad. So I was super happy to finally find him.
Jumping in front of those cars and stopping every car and doing a check of every vehicle. Just luckily, she happened to be in one of the vehicles, and there she was. I saw her. I stopped the car, and the people in the car told me that they were looking for me. Words can describe how happy I was and how relieved I was to find her.
I found out that you were missing for a short bit at a football game while I was not there from your dad. And so he had told me what had happened. Of course, I was like very surprised and, certainly glad that you were found, but it was, nerve-wracking hearing that you had, were separated from your dad and he was trying to find you. and with, getting other people to be, help, and trying to get people out in the streets to stop cars, to make sure you, had not been basically kidnapped and someone, you were in someone's vehicle.
That's a day that I will never forget. Thought about that day, and from time to time, and can't help sometimes to think, what could have happened, what could have been. I feel blessed that I was very lucky that the worst didn't happen. What I recall from that day is probably the biggest nightmare in an awakened state that I think I could ever possibly have.